Hello and welcome to India Business Hour. I'm Parikshit Luthra. Here are the headlines we are tracking this evening. Sensex and Nifty declined for the sixth straight session, the longest losing streak in a year. Nifty ends at a two-month low, falling below 25,000. Foreign investors sell stocks worth nearly $1 billion, taking their total sale over the last 5 sessions to more than $5 billion. Israeli missiles pound Lebanese capital Beirut and the Gaza Strip as the nation marks the first anniversary of the gruesome Hamas attack. Hamas also launches a rocket barrage at Israel. Crude oil prices continue to climb with Brent nearing the $80 mark. The India Business Leader Awards jury, comprising top business leaders, brainstorm India's growth prescription for the next 25 years. Bat for an innovation-driven economy, higher private capex, more infra and healthcare investment along with skilling for the future. Suresh Narayanan will retire as Nestle India Chairman and Managing Director effective 31st July next year. Manish Tiwari, who earlier served as Amazon's India head, will succeed Narayanan. An IIM Bengaluru alumni, Tiwari also worked at Unilever for 2 decades. Wellspun Group's revenue will triple to 1 lakh crore rupees in 3 to 5 years, says Chairman B.K. Goenka in a rare interview. Promises steps to unlock shareholder value. That's an exclusive. International Finance Corporation partners with Axis Bank to provide climate loans worth $500 million in India. Managing Director of IFC, Mukhtar Diop, says overall investments will hit $62 billion this fiscal. IFC is also actively looking to invest in film companies in India. That's another exclusive. Prime Minister Modi meets Maldivian President Muizzu in New Delhi, agreed to elevate ties to a comprehensive economic and strategic partnership. Modi says India has always been the first responder for Maldives in times of crisis. Muizzu invites the Prime Minister to visit Maldives next year to celebrate the 60th anniversary of diplomatic ties. CBI files its first charge sheet in the RG car rape and murder after 58 days. Reports say that civic volunteer Sanjoy Roy has been named as the prime accused. The agency did not mention the charge of gangrape in its 45-page charge sheet, hinting that the prime accused had committed the crime alone. Mumbai's first underground metro stretch from RA to Bandra Kurla complex opens for the public. The head of the Mumbai Metro Rail Corporation, Ashwini Bhide, says the next stretch from BKC to Kolaba will be ready by March next year. Let's start with the market action, where the sell-off is gathering pace. Sensex and Nifty declined for the 6th straight session, marking the longest losing streak in a year. More than 9 lakh crore rupees in market capitalization was wiped out today. Nifty fell below the 25,000 mark, ending at the lowest level in nearly 2 months. Mid-caps saw sharper cuts, with the index losing 2%. Foreign institutional investors have sold India equities worth $5.4 billion on a net basis in the last 5 sessions, including today. Surbhi Upadhyay is here with the market wrap.
Well, the bulls had absolutely no respite. The week started off with a massive bear attack once again, and it was a day marked with severe volatility, with the Nifty seeing at least 4 waves of a bounce back from the lows, but every single one of those bounces was met with renewed selling pressure. So the final cut was, just around that 1% mark on the Nifty. But the real story was playing out on the Bank Nifty. In the last hour of trade, there was one point in time that the Bank Nifty touched the green territory, and within a matter of 15 minutes, it collapsed 1,000 points. That's the extent of the selling pressure that we've seen today. By the way, the day's low for the Nifty was 24,694. So the whole battle now is protecting the 24,700 mark. The story didn't just end with the large cap selling. It was all about the mid cap onslaught that was playing out today, because the broader market was really pummeled. The mid cap index was down about 2%, the small cap index losing about 2.7%. Let's complete the picture on banks. The major losers of the day included the names like SBI, Axis Bank, HDFC, IndusInd Banks. But beyond banks, you can't single out any one sector, because look at PSUs. A lot of stocks on the defense side, on the railway side, were down and out. So the CPSE index or the PSU index, these were down quite a bit. Not just that, the oil and gas space was under pressure as well. And the overall financials landscape beyond large banks, a lot of stocks like Federal, etc., were losing ground as the Q2 updates came through. In fact, that brings me to the mid-cap crushing that we've seen today. If you talk about major stocks that lost ground, RailTel, RVNL, SJVN, Look at Sri Renuka losing about 4-5%, IRB Infra, Tata Power, and these stocks are falling on big volumes, cutting across lines. PSU's private sector didn't matter. Ola Electric, Bajaj Housing Finance, IFL Securities losing 10%, capital market plays like BSE down 7%. Tough day. 3 important triggers to watch as we come back to trade tomorrow. Number 1, China is resuming the action after a week-long holiday, and we're expecting announcements on the fiscal stimulus side, so we'll watch out for that. Oil prices and the surge of 2% on Brent and Middle East developments will be in very sharp focus. And last but not the least, FPI selling. When will it end? That is the billion-dollar question for the Indian market right now.
Crude oil prices continue to climb after posting the steepest weekly rise in more than a year. Brent crude is hovering around the $80 mark. Geopolitical conflicts are keeping investors on the edge, but fears of weakening demand has kept the prices in check to some extent. There are also concerns surrounding over supply, with countries like Guyana and Libya accelerating their oil production. What started as a military response to an unprecedented attack carried out by Hamas on Israeli soil a year back has now escalated to what can be called a pan-Middle Eastern war. Israeli missiles pounded Lebanese capital Beirut overnight and claim to have hit Hezbollah's weapon storage. Israel military also says it has hit many targets in Gaza, including a hospital that was allegedly used by Hamas fighters. Reports say that Hezbollah rockets struck Israel's third largest city, Haifa, injuring 5 people and causing significant damage to infrastructure. A siren blared outside Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's Tel Aviv residence at 6:29 a.m. local time today to mark the moment when the Hamas unleashed a barrage of rockets at Israelis 1 year ago. The rockets also served as a cover for Hamas terrorists to enter Israel and carry out the worst massacre in 50 years. Over 1,200 people were killed and over 250 were taken hostage.
A year ago, we suffered a terrible blow. For the past 12 months, we've been changing reality from end to end. The whole world is astounded at the blows you inflict on our enemies, and I salute you and tell you, you are the generation of victory. Together, we will fight, and together, we will win with God's help.
The jury for the 20th edition of the India Business Leader Awards met in Mumbai today. The 11-member jury was led by Bharat Forge chairman Baba Kalyani. They picked the winner for a variety of categories covering business, public service, sports and entertainment. The winners will be announced on the 7th of December when the award ceremony will be held. The jury held a robust discussion on each category in a meeting that lasted nearly 3 hours. CNBC TV 18's Shireen Bhan sat down with the jury members after the deliberation to discuss the growth prescription for India over the next 25 years. When asked what India needs to do over the next quarter of a century to become a developed economy, the jury came up with several interesting ideas. The crux was about making India an innovation-driven and product-driven economy. Take a look.
Manufacturing sector coming anywhere between 20 to 25% of the economy. You're looking at a manufacturing sector which is going to be 10x of what it is today. And we are already beginning to feel the surge. Although there are a lot of, let's say, headwinds in terms of the geopolitical tensions that are taking place, the entire Middle East war, the non-ending Russia-Ukraine war, and of course the new China versus the rest of the world campaign that has started. But this puts India in a very good spot. If we can get things right in the next 5 to 7 years, nobody is going to stop India.
For India to be competitive, it's very important that the infrastructure is built in a competitive fashion. When I talk about competitiveness, it's not the lowest costing infrastructure, but the quality of the infrastructure, the life cycle cost of infrastructure has to be kept in view. I don't think as a country we have yet given enough importance to quality. So I think what we need to focus on is good quality in good time.
So definitely we need more investment in healthcare. And I keep saying that over and over again. The reason is that, we know the size of our population. The disease burden could be up to $3 trillion by 2035 if we don't do it now. So there is a huge urgency in building out infrastructure. Second, access through insurance, which is happening, but so much more that can be done. The third is to look at the quality of life.
I think digital is just one element of the whole thing. it really comes down to the basic aspects of confidence linked with ambition. If confidence links with ambition, you will get dramatic growth. And I think that's what we've seen in India, but I really think it's the beginning. India today is far more confident than India has ever been. That linked with ambition and setting the mindset where you think about the global stage as opposed to the local stage will just take us to a completely different level.
As tech has gone core for enterprises, you would actually see enterprises, Global 2000 and Fortune 500 companies setting up their own shop in India. Equally, technology is intertwined into engineering, R&D, and operations of enterprises. So you're going to see a variety of things happening, all the way from operations to engineering services to tech services. So India is actually going to be the office of the world in the next 25 years, for sure.
For India, it will be growth and green growth. So for India, it will be, we have to invest in normal growth and green growth. And the estimate is that over the next 10 years, we'll have to invest $1 trillion for the green part alone. And given the fact that, private sector capex anyway is sort of not moved up as much as we would like to see, I think the challenge will come is that does India have enough resources for green growth?
There's been a lot of talk about new age IPOs, and I feel that, I think all of us feel that in the end, that's the true testament of lasting enduring companies for the most part. And today we may have 25 new age companies that have listed. I feel next 25 years we'll have 2,500 new age companies that will be listed and will be lasting enduring companies.
I think the big impediment to kind of growth would come in if the skilling is not something which is there, and that is something which we are also investing in a big way in terms of looking at skilling at all aspects. And not only that, we are looking at saying that how can be part of the consumer decor life cycle completely, and it is not restricted to only one category but extends across categories, so that you are able to cater to not only going to the bottom of the pyramid but also kind of traverse the entire pyramid in terms of the consumer journey, going even up to the premium and the luxury end.
I think we haven't yet built the $50 billion companies in India from the startup world. I would say in the next decade, we'll have at least 10 of those, probably $55 billion plus companies, and probably $250 billion companies. All built venture funded from scratch, brand new entrepreneurship that all emerged from post 2008, 2010, when the venture capital industry sort of came to being.
In a major leadership rejig, Suresh Narayanan will retire as Nestle India chairman and managing director effective 31st July next year. Manish Tiwari, who earlier served as Amazon's India head, will succeed Narayanan. An IIM Bangalore alumni, Tiwari also worked at Unilever for 2 decades. Mangalam is now here with more on Manish Tiwari and Suresh Narayanan's stint at Nestle India.
Manish Tiwari, who's currently the country manager for Amazon India, is slated to succeed Suresh Narayanan as the MD of the company in August 2025, as Suresh Narayanan retires after his 26-year-long stint at Nestle itself. Manish, like I said, has been earlier the country manager of Amazon India, but before that also was with Unilever for over 20 years, has an MBA from IIM Bangalore, so does have the academic as well as the work-related experience to lead the company. But it's important because big shoes to fill out here. Suresh Narayanan joined Nestle India as the leader in August 2015 in the middle of the Maggi crisis. From then on has led and grown the company through not only the Maggi crisis, but thereafter there was demonetization, GST transition, and the biggest of them all, COVID as well. And in his tenure, Suresh Narayanan has grown the Nestle company's revenue, annual revenue, by 150%. EBITDA has grown by over 300%. Margins have improved by 500 basis points, and the street has rewarded that as well. Nestle's market cap under Suresh Narayanan's leadership has grown by nearly 5 times. So big shoes for Manish to fill, but also a stellar career which Suresh Narayanan will be looking back at.
International Finance Corporation, an arm of the World Bank, has joined hands with Axis Bank to launch its blue loan in the India market. IFC will provide $500 million to the lender to develop blue finance market in the country. Blue Finance is an offshoot of climate financing with a special focus on water supply, resources and ocean-friendly projects. The managing director of IFC, Mukhtar Diop, in a conversation with Shireen Bhan, said that sky is the limit when it comes to blue financing. He also added that the IFC is interested in investing in film companies in India.
Last year, we launched a guide on blue bonds. We did it in collaboration with the UNEP, which is an environmental program.
Yes.
And we launched it as a COP. And it was an important element because it allows now company who wants to issue blue bond to have a guideline, to know how to do it, what is blue, what is not blue. And that's what we use that knowledge in India to launch the first blue bond, which should be merged a little bit with green bond for Axis, and we are very proud of it because if the market reacts positively to it, and it seems to be the case, we will have a lot of a new asset class that can be developed, a new thematic bonds that will be developed. The flow will be 5 billion a year. Okay, that's what 5-6 billion, and my team is looking at me with big eyes, saying, well, you know, what is he saying? So the flow will be that. But I think that if we think about mobilization, we can have multiple of that number. The world is changing, and there are some things which were not part of the world. We are not talking to each other, and I think that it's important that they talk to each other because of job creation, because of social impact, and so forth. And you know, I'm a passionate of art, so I can see the value personally of it.
From one exclusive newsmaker to another, Wellspun Group's revenue will triple to 1 lakh crore rupees in 3 to 5 years. That's the word coming in from Chairman B.K. Goenka. In a rare interview with CNBC TV 18's Nigel D'Souza, Goenka promised that the group is taking steps to unlock shareholder value. He said that growth, governance and going green will remain the top priority areas for Wellspun Group.
We have a very clear roadmap for next 3 to 5 years that how we can become from here to 3x. Okay. How we can become a 1 lakh crore group at the top level revenues. Yes. You know, and we have a plan for our Wellspun Corp where we have a DI pipe, we have a large diameter pipe, we have an expansion in Saudi, we have expansion in USA, and we are doing expansion in India.
Given that currently you're at around 45,000 crores, if you can get to that goal of tripling your revenues from here on in the next few years, where do you see the group market capitalization headed? Say in 3 years from now, can you see it also hit the 1 lakh crore in terms of market capitalization?
See, as far as market cap is, as I said, it's all outcome of what we are doing. We are going to do whatever is the right thing for the shareholder, unlocking the shareholder value. Right. Be it through the governance, be it through the right kind of expansion, be it merging or demerging or selling or buying, whatever is to be done, which can create the values for the stakeholders and shareholders across the group. And when we are talking of 3x of top line, I think automatically it has to reflect somewhere in the market cap.
Auto component maker Hero Motors has withdrawn its draft red herring prospectus for its 900 crore rupee public issue with SEBI. The company is headed by Pankaj Muchal. The company had filed its IPO documents with the market regulator in August. The IPO was proposed to be a fresh issuance of shares worth 500 crore rupees and an offer for sale for shares worth 400 crore rupees. Moving on, Hitachi Energy is set to invest around 2,000 crore rupees in the next 4 to 5 years as the company completes 75 years of presence in India. Speaking to me, Global CEO of Hitachi Energy said the investment is part of the company's expansion plans. Further, Hitachi Energy's India CEO also said that enhancing transformer capacity will be the key priority of the investment.
Yeah, we announced today that we are going to invest around 250 million US in India, and Beno will be more in the details. And this is part of our global investment plan that we in the next 2.5 years investing $6 billion worldwide and expanding transformer capacity and other businesses.
And this new investment, which we are talking about 2,000 crores in the next 4 to 5 years, is basically an annual run rate capex of 100 crores to 400 crores per year is what we are going to spend in the next 4 or 5 years in that. So primarily we are spending this enhancing our transformer capacity and enhancing the key components required for the transformer, such as insulations and also HVDC, which is a very critical technology for this energy transition.
Coming up on India Business Hour, Mumbai's first underground metro stretch from RA to Bandra Kurla complex opens for public. A special conversation with the head of Mumbai Metro Rail Corporation in a bit. And you can also catch all CNBC TV 18's news and updates on Facebook, X, Threads, Instagram and JioCinema. You're watching India Business Hour. Prime Minister Modi met Maldivian President Muizu in New Delhi today. The two leaders have agreed to elevate ties to a comprehensive economic and strategic partnership. Prime Minister Modi has said that India has always been the first responder for Maldives in times of crisis. Muizu has invited the Prime Minister to visit Maldives next year to celebrate the 60th anniversary of diplomatic ties.
कुछ दिन पहले मालदीव में रुपे कार्ड लॉन्च किया गया है. आने वाले समय में भारत और मालदीव को यूपीआई से भी जोड़ने के लिए काम किया जाएगा.
I'm thankful for the Indian government's decision to provide support in the form of 30 billion Indian rupees in addition to $400 million bilateral currency swap agreement, which will be instrumental in addressing the foreign exchange issues we are facing right now.
India has filed its first charge sheet in the RG car rape and murder case after 58 days. The reports say that civic volunteer Sanjay Roy has been named as the prime accused. The agency did not mention the charge of gang rape in its 45-page charge sheet. The report also hinted that the prime accused had committed the crime alone. Mumbai's first underground metro stretch from RA to Bandra Kurla has opened for the public. The head of the Mumbai Metro Rail Corporation, Ashwini Bhide, has told CNBC TV 18 that the next stretch from BKC to Colaba will be ready by March next year. She spoke to Lata Venkatesh, who started off by asking her about the delay in completing the project.
No, I don't think it was deliberate, though we had planned the commissioning last December itself, but it took time, because even if the broad infrastructure is ready, the testing and commissioning takes a lot of time, and it took more time in underground metro because there are multiple layers of system which need to be tested, and we need to reach a certain stage of automation, and that is why it took us longer time. And one good thing happened that we completed the major monsoon phase also, so it coincided. But there was no, in fact, earlier had we commissioned it, it would have been better for us.
Oh, better for you. No, but what were the teething problems in the last 8 weeks? I mean, we were given to understand September and then October 1st, and now it is October 7th. Okay, not a big delay, but looks like there were teething problems?
No teething problems. There is a process involved because before any section is commissioned, it needs to undergo the safety checking. So it is done by Commissioner of Metro Rail Safety, and it is divided into two phases. One is the testing for the rolling stock, that is the train, and then the main section. So first we submitted our application for trains. It took us some time, and we ourselves delayed the application for main line because we were to complete certain things. So as I said, the last integrated testing, it took us some time, and even some of the tests, we had not been able to complete it. So there we have kept the manual kind of arrangement, and that is the reason. So project involves too much of complicated technical work, so it took us that time.
Is the next part, BKC to Colaba, can you give us a timeline, and is it less likely to be delayed?
No, we are thinking of doing it by March 2025 because that work is also more than 90% complete. There are only a few pockets in between which started little late, which were more complicated, like the Girgaon station or Acharya Atre Chowk station in Worli, where because of the lot of local issues, the work there started late than the other stations. So there we are still working on completing those stations. So those are the only pain points as of today. But we are trying to wind them up, and March 25 is our target date. But as I said, when I set the target, it may go a couple of months more, because even if we complete the entire work, the testing takes some time. So I'm giving a time frame of say March to May 2025. Within that, it should be completed.
And before we wrap, US Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump invited billionaire Elon Musk to join him on stage in a campaign rally in Pennsylvania. The former president returned to the venue where he was nearly assassinated in July. Elon Musk, who has been donating millions to the Trump campaign, urged the crowd to vote for Trump to save democracy.
President Trump must win to preserve the Constitution. He must win to preserve democracy in America. This is a must-win situation. Must win. So I have one ask for everyone in the audience, everyone who watches this video, everyone in the live stream. There's one request. It's very important. Register to vote.
With that, it's a wrap on this edition of India Business Hour. Thank you for watching. News continues right here on CNBC TV 18.